just got a text that it was a go. At Cape Foulweather, and the weather sure is foul today.
But I'm kind of tired of getting rained on already. It's pretty drenched.
Join us on our adventures as we travel the entire length of the Oregon coast. In this episode, we travel from Newport in the Central Coast to Tillamook in the North Coast. Take your Dramamine and hang on as we endure the elements to do a nerve-wracking and exciting experience. And we got pretty wet in the process. We weren't the only ones that donned our rain gear, got outside, and had fun despite the weather. We did manage to dry out as we later consumed an abundance of yummy dairy products. With full bellies, we ventured outside again to our very wet coastal campground, uniquely located on a sand spit. It's a new day in Oregon, even though it still looks the same. But today we are going to do something fun and something I'm a little nervous about. Well, actually a lot nervous about. We just got a text that it was a go, and so we're packing up to head out of Newport and head to Depoe Bay for something that I'm a little nervous about. Okay, we are going to go gray whale watching. Hopefully we see something because I am nervous to go on a little zodiac boat. I've never been on one like that.
So we are in Depoe Bay going to do some whale watching today.
And we're going to test out our rain gear.
It's raining.
Our raincoats actually work in the rain.
Raining pretty steady outside, so we'll see if we stay dry.
Yeah. We headed to our 8-seater Zodiac boat for a 1.5-hour whale watching tour with Whale Research EcoExcursions, providing a more intimate experience than that of the larger whale watching boat tours. Our boat was Kite Girl, a 26-footer that used to be Jimmy Buffett's tender boat for his yacht. Thankfully, the tour company provides blankets and rain slickers. But we foolishly did not accept the rain slickers when we could have just thrown them over our raincoats for extra protection.
There's our ride for the next hour and a half. Going for a ride.
Zodiac.
Jimmy Buffett Zodiac.
Jimmy Buffett. June through September are the best months for whale watching in Depoe Bay, the whale watching capital of Oregon. And we were right at the beginning of prime time.
Well, any of you guys been to Depoe Bay before?
No.
All right, well, welcome to Depoe Bay, the world's smallest navigable harbor. It's only 6 acres. It's mostly commercial boats, charter fishing boats, whale watching tour guide boats like this one. And then my favorite boats out here, though, are these Coast Guard boats. These are 47-foot motor lifeboats. And this is Coast Guard Station Depoe Bay. Now, I actually got my start professionally on the water in the Coast Guard. I was in 7 years. So if a big wave comes up and knocks them over, they're self-righting. In fact, they designed the engines on these things to run upside down for a minute or two. So this boat can get rolled 360 degrees by a giant wave, and come back up, it'll still be operational.
Wow.
As if the trip out to sea in the little Zodiac wasn't nerve-wracking enough, there was actually a small craft advisory that morning. This meant there was a warning about potentially hazardous marine conditions, like sustained winds of 22 knots or frequent gusts of 25 knots or more, and the possibility of waves of 7 feet or more. Eek! Seeing the waves crash against the coastline definitely was a testament of how rough it was and made us very glad we took our Dramamine. Although you are less likely to get sick on Zodiacs than on typical boats because of their lower center of gravity. We felt like we were in good hands, though, since our guide was a former Coast Guard captain. we did see whales, gray whales, which were removed off the endangered species list in 1994. Gray whales are the most common ones to see in Depoe Bay, and you have good odds of seeing the whales most months out of the year. Their migration journey is so amazing and fascinating, especially since they migrate just 2 to 5 miles off the coast of Oregon.
We just saw whale really close.
Oh my God! Nice job.
Approximately 19,000 whales live in the eastern North Pacific area, and they begin their migration from the feeding waters in Alaska in October to the breeding grounds in Mexico, where they stay till spring. This round-trip journey of about 12,000 miles is thought to be the longest annual migration of any mammal. Approximately 200 of the whales opt for a shorter migration route and remain along the Oregon coast to feed all summer, and we got to see a handful of those whales. Gray whales are up to 50 feet long and 35 tons. That's longer than a large bus. Their flukes can be up to 10 feet, and when they dive down, they can be underwater for up to 30 minutes. Whale watching calls for lots of patience and waiting, but when you do see a whale, it makes it totally worth it. The weather for our boat ride was some of the rainiest weather of our trip. Very wet, cold, and unpleasant.
Okay, well, hang on.
But at least we saw whales, sea lions, and seals, and didn't walk away empty-handed.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's great.
Off me, Junior. Oh my God. Be nice. That one's peeing.
Oh my.
Okay, guys, we're late on time, so we're gonna head in.
We got to see these seals on our way out of and back into the bay. Come to find out, the tour company hadn't been able to take the boats out for the previous few days because of the weather, and ours ended up being the only tour for the day.
Alright, guys, how was that?
It's great.
8, 10, 12, 4.
So this was our boat, and it was a bit of a wild ride. Especially coming back in, we were going really fast, getting really wet with the rain and the waves. And we saw, 4 or 5 whales? At least 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5. It's hard to tell, right? What did you think, David?
Very wet.
Very wet?
Afterwards, we stopped by the small whale, sea life, and shark museum, which is run by Whale Research EcoExcursions. Admission to the museum is included in the whale watching tour price. The owner, also a marine biologist, Carrie Newell, created the museum so she could share her passion for marine life with as many people as she could. It was neat to learn more about some of the creatures we had already encountered on our trip, like sand dollars.
So when the sand dollars are living, they are covered with spines or feet, and they use these to pass the food to their mouths and for locomotion. The 5 doves are the mouth parts of the sand dollar.
The painted whales on the outside of the building showcase 10 of the area's resident whales and their unique characteristics. Before doing our second big activity of the day, we backtracked to the Otter Crest Loop and stopped at a few scenic turnouts.
Devil's Punchbowl. Wow, it really looks like a punch bowl. I wonder how high the water comes up.
This unique site is known as Devil's Punchbowl State Natural Area. We arrived at low tide. Had we arrived at high tide, especially on a stormy day like today, we could have witnessed the punch bowl in action, where the waves enter the bowl and violently churn. Even without the churning waves, it was a sight to behold. Oregon doesn't cease to amaze us.
Now we know why firsthand why everything is green here. Steve's pretty grumpy. He doesn't like being wet and cold. None of us really do, but it's beautiful. I love it.
But I'm kind of tired of getting rained on already, and it's only been a couple hours of getting rained on.
We have like 3 more days.
Pretty drenched.
The area is also a popular surfing location for hardy souls on a day like today.
We're at Cape Foulweather, and the weather sure is foul today. This is the site where Captain Cook in March 1778 first spotted land from his Pacific Coast journey. And this is also supposed to be a wonderful area to see views and whales. It still is beautiful, but there's not much dramatic vistas today. Although you can see the Devil's Punch Bowl off in the distance from where we just came from. Whipping right now. It can get to be 100 miles an hour is not uncommon here for the wind. And it was particularly stormy on the day of his discovery as well, and windy.
So this is where the history of the Oregon coast began. We're 500 feet above the sea up here.
500 feet, wow. We're gonna go to the whale watching center next, and I think we can go inside, which will be wonderful.
So we're heading to the whale watching center. They see 5 to 15 whales per day. This time of year, the gray whales are traveling north from Baja to Alaska with their calves.
There are good views to look for whales. They have binoculars. Gray whales on the move. They travel 12,000 miles round trip. That's incredible.
So we are at the Depoe Bay Whale Watching Center.
Gray whales are the only bottom-feeding whales. They don't have teeth. Baleen plates hang like curtains from the upper jaw. They can have up to 180 pairs of these plates. They dive to the bottom of the ocean and gulp up sediment. Water and sediment filter through their baleen plates and food is trapped behind them. In Depoe Bay, they eat mostly mysid shrimp, consuming around 2,000 pounds in one day. There's a fun whiteboard in the center that has all the latest reports of sightings. On the previous day, a sighting of an orca pod had been posted, and the same 4 gray whales that we had seen that morning were recorded as well.
So there are 24 official gray whale watching sites along the coast. And one of them was Harris Beach State Park, where we were at the very beginning. And another one is up at the Sea Lion Caves and Cape Perpetua, where we were yesterday. And of course, Depoe Bay has a lot of areas. Depoe Bay Bridge with the baby seals below it. We are heading to Tillamook. Some cheese. Who wants some ice cream? Anybody? Have any takers?
Yeah.
What do you guys want? Always a good day to do a yum box. We brought one of our yum boxes with.
45th parallel, halfway between the North Pole and the equator.
How awesome is that? And I got it on video. We get the yum boxes from Universal Yums that a friend gifted us one time, and we just decided to subscribe each year. So we get a box a month, and it's a different country each month that has food, snacks, and yummy treats from the country.
My eyes are watering.
They're so vinegary. These vinegar pickled onion rings. They taste like vinegar. They're really strong. It smells terrible. Look at, there's a boat too. Where are we? This is the most traffic we've seen the entire trip.
At Tillamook Factory.
Look at all the cars. Oh my gosh. It looks like we're going into the parking lot at Disneyland. Except everybody's here to see cheese and eat cheese and ice cream.
Probably more eating than seeing.
Eating?
It go in your mouth.
Tillamook Creamery.
The factory is huge. Huge. Huge, huge, huge.
The Tillamook Creamery factory ended up being a perfect activity to get out of the rain. We did a self-guided tour to learn about the history as well as get behind-the-scenes peek of the cheese factory. Tillamook has been a farmer-owned co-op since 1909, when it was first founded by 10 independent creameries. It is now owned by 60 dairy farms that produce about 69 million pounds of cheese every year. They have expanded their products to include yogurt, ice cream, and even frozen meals.
Who ever heard of a cow back scratcher? They're so pampered. They can walk up and scratch themselves on that if they want. And they wear a collar that tracks how much they've been moving and how much they've been chewing their cud. So what is the stinky smell that David could not stand?
Manure.
Manure.
So, as the digester heats manure, bacteria feast on it, giving off methane. So the Tillamook factories are turning their cows' manure into renewable energy.
Correction, stinky.
Headed up to the factory viewing deck, cheese samples, and the exhibit hall. Go try medium cheddar. I forget which kind we get at Costco.
We have 2 different varieties available. You're welcome to try one of each.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to get one of these. It's sharp white cheddar.
Tillamook Creamery, they make 170,000 pounds of cheese and 18,000 gallons of ice cream here in Tillamook every day.
We brought our own crackers inside so we could have cheese and crackers. Steve had to get seconds on the cheese samples.
BYOC. Bring your own crackers.
We kept going back to the sample counter to get our fill, literally, of 2 delicious types, sharp white cheddar and medium cheddar.
Takes 10 pounds of milk to make 1 pound of cheese.
1 million pounds of cheese a week.
1 million pounds a week.
115 2-pound baby loaves per minute.
Is what?
How much they produce.
Wow.
1 million pounds a week.
Since we were at Tillamook on a weekend, most of the factory workers were not there, but we did get to see a few of them in action.
Did you see that the whey powder for protein drinks and baby formula is from the whey that they've separated out? That's crazy.
The salt is the final step of the cheddaring process, and it draws out more whey and slows the production of lactic acid, which helps the cheese last longer.
And what are those blocks?
Those are 40-pound blocks of cheese. That's the
40 pounds. Wow. David, here come the blocks of cheese. Ice cream now? We're not done looking around. around. Those cheese boxes are headed up the conveyor belt in a spiral escalator slide-like contraption, and they're going to the cooler for cooling out, chilling out, and getting aged. What is the blue octopus?
It's a cheese sealing machine. A fast vacuum.
Oh, wow, it can vacuum up 120 packages a minute. That is some speedy octopus.
A visit to the factory wouldn't be complete without indulging in ice cream and purchasing dairy products for the road. So that is exactly what we did.
Boys, who's ready to get ice cream?
Me.
Did you know that Tillamook has more cows than people? I already see 2 flavors that I want. What do I do?
You can.
A double.
I have a double cone. First, I'm playing birthday cake. Okay. And then second, I would like old-fashioned vanilla. Old-fashioned? Yeah. I would like big chocolate chip with a dipped bun.
Okay, that one's yours. I don't know if you can hold that. Are you gonna be able to eat all that?
Yeah.
Start enjoying it. It's a good thing we didn't get him 2 scoops.
Daniel got more ice cream than I did.
Oh my gosh. Whoa. That's like a whole ice cream gallon. How good is it? How good is it, David?
Really good.
Really good. The best ice cream you've ever had? Mm-hmm. Apparently you need to wear protective raincoats for ice cream melting all over. Oh, oh my gosh. Oh.
Let's go in.
Oh.
What do you got?
I got hazelnut, huckleberry, and marionberry pie. It's really good. I've had this one so far. Dessert before dinner. I think we're gonna spoil our dinner tonight, especially the boys. We got like a half a gallon of ice cream in a cone. The power of cheese. Look at all these flavors. And we could buy a 5-pound one too. Look at 5-pound cheese block. There's so many flavors.
Look at the ice cream line.
It's wrapping around to the front of the building. How crazy is that? Everybody wants their ice cream. Daniel wrote a postcard that he's gonna drop in the box and send to someone special, and they put a stamp on it. We bought way too much cheese, we ate way too much ice cream, and now we're gonna go set up camp at our rainy campsite at Cape Lookout State Park. Here we go. Rain, rain.
I've heard the songs of summer singing. Like a
This is neat, except for the rain. I'm kind of tired of being wet. That must be Cape Lookout.
So the Oregon Parks established 1922, so it is their 100th year this year.
We are setting up our tent in this. We're right on the beach, but we're wondering if there's any trees at our campsite that has a view of the beach. The trees look sparse, and the ones that are very, very wind blown. Look at this one. This will be our first site without trees if we don't have trees. Oh, please let there be trees.
Crystal commented earlier in the trip that, oh gee, there's not very many rooftop tents in Oregon. Well, I think we're finding out why today. Get to see how waterproof the Smittybilt Generation 1 rooftop tent is tonight.
Laugh or cry.
Hey, at least we don't have a ground tent like these poor folks.
Oh my. At least it's really big. And they're setting up in the rain. And look, they have trees, but no protection.
Here we are.
This is our site.
For the evening.
Oh wow. We have a few trees, but no protection. Wow. I hear frogs. We can always take cover in the bathroom. It's right by our campsite. We're already leaving our campsite. We had enough of the rain. I had a brilliant idea that we should go find the group the group picnic site. The picnic shelter, so that we can, oh look, the beach is right there. It's just a walk. The beach is right there. Yeah. So we're gonna go find a picnic shelter and make our dinner before we set up our tent in this wet rain. Loving this picnic shelter right now that no one else is using. It's keeping us dry while we make dinner, while Steve makes dinner, and we have yummy.
Tonight we have the Reina family size 5-cheese tortellini
More cheese.
with basil pesto sauce and Del Monte cut green beans to enjoy.
But best of all, we're dry. And we have this gorgeous ocean view that we get to hear and see as we make dinner. This is great.
While eating under the picnic shelter, we decided we'd attempt to switch to a campsite that has more trees and protection from the elements.
Is there anything around there?
Oh goodness. We're still trying to find a campsite and it's dark now. We're trying to switch campsites so we could have more tree cover, or I guess tree cover. We didn't have any at the site that we booked, and there's a lot of campsites left, but we've been driving around for 30 minutes trying to find the perfect site, and there's not a perfect site, so I think we're gonna find the next best thing.
Come along with us on our next adventure as we explore more of the North Coast. We get creative in braving the rain and put more mileage on our boots during a beautiful and peaceful walk along a sand spit before heading further north to, yes, another campground on a sand spit.
They make 115 baby 2-pound baby loaves every minute.
How many million pounds of cheese?
I don't remember.
I think they ran out of ice cream, David. I don't think you're gonna be able to have any.